It is the last 2 days before both the big block F22 and the 4-Rotor Supra leave for Legends of Drift, which is this weekend at Raceway Park in New Jersey. And there's a lot of little last minute things we're doing to the cars to both make them more reliable, more competitive, and more fun. First up, we're gonna talk about the big block. Now when you got a 10.4 liter engine, one thing that was kind of challenging for me was controlling the power with this little gas pedal throw. Now this is just a stock BMW pedal, and in drifting, sometimes if you flash through the grip too fast, especially since we're gonna be running the Accelera 265 tire, which is more of a fun grassroots style tire compared to the FD tire that we've been previously running on the big block car, we are going to be switching to a 350Z style gas pedal. So instead of having this little amount of travel, we'll have, I know it doesn't look like it's that much, but it's probably about double the travel. We put this pedal in the FDS15, and that's gonna allow me to control the power a little bit better instead of it just being like, rah, rah, rah. I should be able to go, rah. First step, Owen's making a bracket so we can mount this in the car, and then that should help with the drivability.
Adam wants this pedal and the big block because it has more throw. And this one is like that much. So we're shaving down this fit like the firewall and then just gonna weld it in there.
Yeah.
Then I've got 2 bolts that mount to the back, get the job done.
So is this gonna give him more RPM?
You can ask that guy.
One other issue we're having with the car, if you remember, we were actually having the CDI box overheat and then turn off while we were driving, which is a major problem. Freddie found there's this company that makes this cool little fan add-on because a lot of the drag and drive guys use these things. So it essentially replaces the plate on the other side and it will blow cool air through it the whole time, hopefully preventing it from overheating, because in drifting, this thing is being used pretty much all the time for a lot of time. All right, we got a fun little art project happening. If you remember the catch cans that we have mounted here now, you can actually see through the bumper, which I thought is kind of cool. And I was looking at them and I was like, wait a second. I feel like a can of Neft is almost the same exact size. So I'm gonna see if I can make it so that way this can lives on the outside of the catch can. You see it through the bumper.
That'd be sick.
I feel like it would be kind of cool. If you guys are familiar with Neft, Ultra Premium Vodka, they are one of my sponsors this year in Formula Drift. It's been awesome working with them. And I've been trying to figure out how I could work them into this build. And I feel like it's kind of a cool way.
It is. That's actually sick.
Damn, that's sick.
Right?
It literally couldn't be more perfect.
It's like right on the edge of the bottom of the bumper too.
So we're converting the car from one-way rears to two-way rears. Two-way rears came as divorced, so the spring is separate from the shock shaft because these cars don't come true from factory. So Cody from BC brought us some parts so I can convert this to a true coilover, some spring mounts, different top hat, and then we can jam this in there as a true coil, which is, this side is done. Just a bit more adjustability to learn what the chassis does. If it likes more rebound or more or less compression, we can lock down one side of the shock more than the other.
True.
From the first conception of the 4-Rotor Supra, it has always been in the cards that we would be adding nitrous to it. Now, it's not forced induction, and I knew that I would want a little bit more than the 500 so horsepower that we expected to make with the 4-Rotor, especially for like competitive events. I think that car was actually originally supposed to go to one of the very first LZ World Tours or Invitationals at E-Town, and that's where we decided we want to do nitrous. And now, today in this video is actually going to be the first time that we have nitrous running on the dyno and testing all in the same video.
Never done PTFE before,
No?
but Vibrant makes a very helpful video on YouTube. So, if you want to make cool stuff.
Owen had a quick education segment before making this line.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? It just like empties the whole bottle, right? Like, so we're putting nitrous on the Supra, and you have to run PTFE lines. So because the PTFE burst pressure and operating pressure is way higher, because like the PTFE I think is the plastic inside. Making this is the line that's going to go from the bottle to the solenoid, and then we're going to go from the solenoid to the distribution block, and it's going to go into individual runners.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we can only get 10 feet strands of line. This is the end, so I think we're going to be happy with where this ends up. So it's going to go here, solenoid, and run a line down to this block, and they're coming to the runners here. And then behind these are the jets.
The Jetsons?
The Jetsons.
Hi, Brian.
How do you do the Jetsons noise? That was pretty good.
Now, as you guys already know, we are giving away this beautiful blue JZX 100 Chaser and $9,000 cash, where every $5 you spend on LZ, pretend I'm wearing an LZMFG shirt, LZMFG.com gets you entered for a chance to win. And we've been slowly bringing the car up to spec in the background, and I'm going to work on one very important thing today. If you or anyone you know has a JZX 100, chances are this already happened to you, because this is a very common problem on these cars. Peep this tension rod bushing. Watch this, ready?
Oh, yeah, she smoked.
Yeah, that is not good. So if you don't have the courtesy of being able to go underneath your car and look or play with a pry bar, the easiest, but yeah, look at it from in here, dude. That's so bad.
Fully split.
The easiest way to know that that's going on is if you tap the brakes and you feel the wheel like shimmying forward and back, or you hear a clunk, or even sometimes like this car actually started getting a death wobble when I was driving it and I thought I had a blown out tie rod. It was that. So we're going to change the tension rod bushings today. I've actually never done it on one of these cars, but I figured it's a pretty common thing, so it'll be helpful to show you guys how to do it. This may work, this may not. We're going to do a speed challenge to see how quickly I can remove the tension rods. You ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go!
Time.
That was pretty good.
That was a
Just
minute.
saying, like,
I think that was 1 minute.
that honestly, that builds way more confidence. If you have to do this job, see how easy that was. I thought this was gonna suck way more. That was the fun part, though. I gotta press these bushings out. So over here, conveniently enough, over at Drift HQ, just down the road, we've got our very, yeah, I'm putting those ugly things on my beautiful Viper chair. We've got Serial 9 tension rod bushings. Now I've never installed these, but I was told this is a very good option for like a street slash daily slash drift car, because you don't want to go too crazy and then get more vibration and all that John. So it looks pretty simple like any other bushing. Looks like it's the same on the front and the back. So I guess we'll start with pressing the old one out. I'll get these things in there. Funny, we breathe in tire smoke all the time, but this is way more gross.
There we go.
Now, get those slits in there good, and that should be easy to remove. Huh. That wasn't too bad.
That actually was really easy.
This is usually a way worse
Yes.
thing.
Always.
That's kind of crazy. All right, next. That's crazy that I can move it this much just with my bare hand. All right.
I think you did that in like 10 minutes total.
Kind of crazy.
Taking it
I think
off.
I'll have these back in like sub 30 minutes.
That's insane.
I'm gonna paint them though just to make them look a little bit nicer, but I'm still pretty proud.
If this was a up north job, this would be 4 hours.
Yeah, because all the bolts will be rusted.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of. I think it's the blind confidence that's helping me right now. Like, you know what I like in today's day and age? When a company prints the instructions on the product. You remember when we were kids and we used to get like Legos and they had instructions? Now all these dumb companies got QR codes and you got to scan them and use your phone, and then people text you and then TikTok and all those things distract you from what you're trying to do. Good old-fashioned instructions. Shout out to the Canadians. Merci. That's all I know. Look at that. Beautiful. Now we could just put these back in like this, but I'm not gonna lose the opportunity of being able to paint and make this look nice. So I'm gonna clean these up real quick, spray some nice paint on it, and then we'll get these back in the car. I've always done this before I paint. I don't know if it actually does anything, but the logic is that it burns off any like last contaminants or oils or things in what you're painting, and it heats up the part so that usually the paint will dry faster. One of those scenarios where it was a little easier to take apart than it was to put it back together. I had to remove a lot more components because for whatever reason, just getting this to line up here was a pain. So I decided to just drop the shock on the lower. It probably doesn't look like I know what I'm doing, which is accurate, but I'll get it all back together.
It only took you 43 seconds to take them off.
That's true, so I can afford some lost time here.
I love that Brian comes to Florida and he's immediately upside down in four-rotor.
Dash work is the worst.
The absolute worst.
It helps the cages here though, because you can like monkey out when you're done.
Yeah, it helps the blood flow to your head, honestly.
Something we've been meaning to do for a while. I just actually lost one of the throttle screws, so it just had a bolt in it. But we're essentially sinking each throttle body. It's pretty common on like motorcycles and other ITB engines. This should allow us to get more of that traditional brap 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 idle. But right now we have some that are pulling a little bit more vacuum than others, which could create an uneven idle scenario. God dang hair stayed up on that. Why is it backfiring so much?
I mean, it's really fast still.
Okay.
It's like 6.6 lambda.
I mean, it almost made 600 horsepower being really fast. How much of a shot did you put in this thing?
126 jets times 4.
I felt like it's gonna do more than 100.
Yeah.
It seems to like
Vargas
it
is
a lot.
lying as he wanted us to blow it up, so he had a job security. He comes back, gets a free flight, free hotel, free food.
He was telling us to do double. He's like, you want to make a 100 shot, put a 200 shot in it. I think my goal would be if it picked up close to 100 foot-pounds of torque, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
It probably won't because we're spraying it later, but I don't need the power up top as much as like kind of the mid-range just to get through the grip if I'm following someone and I bog the motor a little bit.
Yeah.
we picked up about 70 horsepower. We went about 580 horsepower. But the biggest thing is you can see, not only did we kind of get rid of this dip, we picked up some massive area, just basically from like 5 grand all the way to almost red line, which is 10 grand on this car. We're not gonna go crazy with tuning this car on the dyno, because one thing we found is everything Freddie does on the dyno ends up getting undone as soon as we go and test the car. There's just like a lot of weird like throttle ranges and RPM ranges that don't happen on the dyno that happen in real life. So you got a basic rudimentary safe tune in it, and then we'll fine tune everything out on the drift pad. Until it turned off.
What turned off?
In the drop, I don't know if it just went super rich or something on D-cell. Also, just quick question. Oh, I guess it won't spread the nitrous if I floor it to turn the car off because it's under the RPM.
Yeah.
I ran it up a gear. I don't know if it looked different on, but I was able to run third instead of second.
Damn.
It felt good. Just coming out of the drop, it went super rich and like stalled. Same spot, same problem. Right now we might test the nitrous a little more vertical. We knew that it might be an issue, but we had the nitrous mount already kind of half made. Yeah. So we decided we'd try it, but the problem is the bottle's technically backwards, so when I'm on the gas, all the nitrous stuff is going backwards and the pickup tube isn't picking it up. So we're gonna try like ratchet strapping it in the passenger seat just for a lap to see if that fixes it, because remaking that mount isn't a quick thing. Yeah. There's just not a lot of room. Ideally, we would just flip the brackets we made backwards and it would kind of work. Right. Imagine we had this the whole time and I spent all that time welding my fancy bracket and we could have just used this thing.
Because we already have the other bracket in the car.
Bracket head.
Shout out, buddy.
Now, I don't have the car here right now to show you, but if you recall before, the way that the bottle was mounted was something like this. Now, when you're accelerating or when G-forces are happening, it's pushing the nitrous, which actually is a fluid. The gas is what presses it down away from the pickup tube that's at the bottom of the bottle. So we're losing the ability to pick the nitrous up. So what we did is we essentially used that cage mount. We did something that was more like, I'm not gonna throw this in there because I'm gonna scratch the bottle up, but it basically now is mounted to the cage a little bit more like this. So that way we have both centrifugal force and gravity working in our favor this time, so that way the pickup tube will be picking up nitrous. And as you're about to see, the nitrous will actually work when I'm driving, whereas before it wasn't working.
yeah, old girl's making some steam now. I don't know if it's easy to tell on camera, but it's definitely a difference.
Yeah.
Freddie, I'd say the only thing now, it feels like there's a slight, almost like a rev hang. Like when I lift off the gas, it keeps going for a second. So I don't know if that's like a nitro shut-off thing, but it's definitely like, it's got some more balls now.
Yeah.
Night and day. I never drove it without, it never worked before.
Right.
It was just sloshing out. Now it's working.
Hell yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We were intending to have the big block testing and showing it off within this video, and we had some real times with that car yesterday. So what it wound up being, we had the car on the dyno, instantly had the clutch start slipping. Bizarre, something that never happened before. Took everything apart, put it back together, clutch still slipping, nothing made sense. Literally, it was at 1 a.m. when the car was already supposed to be loaded in the trailer, we finally figured out what was happening. Now, it's kind of complicated to explain, and to some of you guys it may make sense, to some of you it may not. Basically, there's a thing called air gap that you need to have when you have an internal sleeve, so that way when everything's assembled, you're not already putting pressure on the clutch, which is allowing it to disengage. We thought maybe that was the issue, messed around with it, wasn't the issue. What wound up being the culprit, which is why we were having clutch issues, for whatever reason, our slave scenario and our transmission was actually putting pressure on the clutch when the transmission was installed, but when we were measuring air gap with the transmission off, we couldn't see that. So something that was kind of new to all of us, but we wound up figuring it out. Not in time to test the car here, so it's going up to Legends of Drift with no testing, but it is gonna make there, and I think it will make it through the event. Definitely need some parts to be manufactured differently given the space that we have with the big block and the clutch pack that we have in there. But nonetheless, we're on a little bit of sleep, but we got the car in the trailer on its way, and you guys are gonna see that Legends of Drift along with the 4-Rotor Supra, and I'm stoked for you guys to hear that car in person. So if you haven't entered the Chaser giveaway, information in the description. If you haven't gotten tickets to Legends of Drift, I think it may honestly be sold out by the time this video is up. So don't sleep. It is going to sell out 100% sure. So we'll see you there.